Senate Committee on Transportation will come to order. We recess with a quorum. We'll do a roll call a little bit later. The chair lays out Senate Bill 2376 by Senator Campbell and asks the author to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everybody. Choose Life Fund is a specialty license plate program in Texas that was established 2011. The program allows Texas drivers to purchase specialty license to raise money for adoption-related services in the state. But it doesn't raise much money. So we're thinking we change the name, it'll make more money. We're going to rename the Choose Life account within the Attorney General's office to support adoption account. It makes it clear that the donated dollars are used to support adoption. Lastly, it directs the DPS to present an option to donate to the Support Adoption Fund prior to payment for driver's license renewal, or an ID card application. And with that, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions, Senator Campbell? If not, we'll open up public testimony on Senate Bill 2376.
Yes.
And as a resource, I have Alicia Jackson, Office Attorney General, Annette Quintero, DMV, and Lisa Daughtry, DPS. Registering for the bill, not wishing to testify, is Thomas Parkinson. Is there anybody else that would like to testify on, for, or against Senate Bill 2376? Hearing none, we'll close public testimony. We'll leave the bill pending. And Senator Hinojosa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Chair lays out House Bill 1315 and recognizes Senator Hinojosa to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. House Bill 1315 by Chairman Herrero relates to Burn Pit Registry Fund. The Burn Pits 360 Veterans Organization has dedicated its efforts over the course of several years towards facilitating comprehensive medical care and access to resources for service members and veterans who have been exposed to hazardous toxins emanating from open-air burn pits. The open-air burn pits are used to incinerate massive quantities of waste materials, including but not limited to chemicals, plastic, metals, paints, medical waste, and unserviceable medical equipment. The Department of Defense has estimated that nearly 3.5 million troops from recent wars may have suffered enough exposure to the smoke to cause health problems. As a matter of fact, Mr. Chairman and members, my brother, Martin Hinojosa, served in Desert Storm with Airborne. He has a rating of 90% disability due to all these toxins from burn pits while he participated in Desert Storm. Advocacy efforts by the Burn Pit 360 Veterans Organization led to the legislature passing House Bill 306 in 2019, which authorized the creation of the Texas Open Burn Pit Registry. However, no funds were appropriated for the registry creation and maintenance. The Department of State Health Services has estimated it would cost approximately $3 million to implement and maintain the registry. To ensure the registry benefits are fully realized, House Bill 1315 creates a Burn Pit 360 Veterans Organization specialty license plate with proceeds from the sales directed towards the creation and maintenance of the Texas Open Burn Pit Registry. And the remaining money from the proceeds, after the administrative costs are deducted, will be deposited directly into the Burn Pit Fund. Each Burn Pit license plate purchase will have the title Burn Pit 360 Veterans Organization engraved on the plate. And I do have a committee substitute.
There is a committee substitute. Senator West sends up committee substitute for House Bill 1315. Please explain it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee substitute simply renames the act to the Leroy and Rosie Torres Act, since there were two very strong advocates from the very beginning on the Burn Pit Registry.
Okay, members, any questions? Before we open up public testimony, I ask the clerk to call the roll.
Nichols.
Here.
West.
Aye.
Alvarado. Eckhart. Hancock. King. Miles.
Here.
Parker.
Here.
Perry. Quorum is present.
Okay, quorum is present. So we'll open up for the public testimony on House Bill 1315 and the committee substitute. I've got as a resource Heidi Bogus, Department of State Health Services. If there are any questions, registering only, not wishing to testify, is Ware Wendell, Texas Watch Executive Director. Is there anyone else like to testify on House Bill 1315 or the committee substitute? And it was posted as Senate Bill 2601? Nope,
That's a different bill.
that's a different bill, excuse me. All right, I don't hear any, so we'll close public testimony on House Bill 1315, the committee substitute. Leave the bill pending. Thank you, Senator Hinojosa. And so, we got the other one. Chair allows out Senate Bill 2601. Recognize Senator Hinojosa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. Senate Bill 2601 relates to...
Is your mic on? Is your mic?
All right, got it. Let me start over again, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 2601 relates to assistance to water supply corporations for utility relocation. Under current law, the Texas Department of Transportation can provide financial assistance for relocations of certain utilities as defined by the Transportation Code. Example of utilities, telephone, communications, electric, gas, water, stormwater, sanitary sewer, infrastructure. The financial assistance can be provided if the utility relocation is required for improvement of highway systems. However, the utility currently must be a political subdivision or a utility operated by a political subdivision. This excludes water supply corporations, which are nonprofit. Senate Bill 2601 will allow water supply corporations operating under Chapter 67 Water Code to apply for utility relocation funds under the Texas Department of Transportation. The Water Supply Corporation will still have to follow the process outlined in statute, which requires the Transportation Commission to determine a financial condition prevents the Water Supply Corporation from being able to pay, or that the payment would adversely affect its ability to operate or provide essential services to its customers, and the utility would not be able to receive a state infrastructure bank loan to finance the cost of a reallocation.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of Senator Hinojosa? If not, we'll open up public testimony on Senate Bill 2601. I've got some Carlos Lima, Sherryland Water Supply Corporation. Please come up. While he's coming up as a resource, I've got Brian Barth at TxDOT, registering in favor of but not wishing to testify Jennifer Emerson, Texas Rural Water Association. So please state your name for the record, sir,
Carlos Lima.
and give us your testimony.
Good morning. My name is Carlos Lima, and I'm General Manager of Sherryland Water Supply Corporation. I'm here in support of SB 2601. Sherryland Water Supply Corporation was created in the 1960s. At that time, a loan was secured through the Farmers Home Administration. That loan was used to build a rural water system where initially we had 700 property owners committed to take water service once construction was completed. Today, more than 50 years later, there are over 20,700 water connections in the system, serving over 75,000 individuals. Sherryland serves approximately 133 square miles, and we have approximately 800 miles of water lines, 3 water treatment plants, 4 elevated storage tanks, and plans for additional improvements. Our service area near Mission, Texas was once entirely rural and largely farmland. Now our region is experiencing historical growth, and I'm proud to say that Sherryland has planned well in advance for this growth by spending millions in water infrastructure. Additionally, we have prepared for continuous growth by creating a master plan identifying 30 capital improvement projects over the next 25 years. However, there was no way for us to predict the number of TxDOT projects in our service area in such a short time. A few months ago, TxDOT unveiled a road construction schedule of 12 road projects in our service area, and they must be completed over the next 3 years. Each project requires relocation of our water lines, mostly at our expense. To relocate pipelines, it will cost Sherryland upwards to $64 million. While not bankrupting the system, it will require Sherryland to acquire more debt.
Go ahead and finish.
Okay. It will require Sherryland to acquire more debt, halt any capital improvement projects, and bottom line, our customers will end up paying for such projects. Residents within our service area will essentially see a 30% water bill increase to cover the debt of such projects. SB 2601 will allow us to apply for TxDOT facilities relocation grant and potentially relieve some of the financial pressure we will certainly endure otherwise. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Senator West?
And I don't know that I have a question
Yes, sir.
of this gentleman, but maybe a resource witness.
TxDOT?
Yeah, when we have the opportunity.
Brian? Please state your name for the record.
Brian Barth, Texas Department of Transportation.
Brian, help me with this. This particular bill, this is new ground, so to speak, given what Senator Hinojosa said, that normally we work with the political subdivisions. This would be working with a private concern, correct?
Well, it would be these public rural water districts.
Right, but they're not public subdivisions. They're not public entities, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and so, and we would be working with them in relation to, if we're doing a highway project, how would this work?
So if we were coming through to build a new project or widen a project and there were utilities in the right-of-way, we would be asking them to relocate those utilities to get them out of conflicting with the widening of the highway.
And this bill would allow the Texas Department of Transportation to provide financial assistance to them in order to do that.
Correct, with certain circumstances that Senator Hinojosa mentioned.
Okay, and what were those circumstances again?
The financial condition would really prevent the Water Supply Corporation from being able to pay for those projects themselves. And it would affect its ability to operate the water services to the constituents. The other is that the utility would not be able to receive a state infrastructure bank loan to finance the cost of the reallocation.
Okay, they would not be able to receive a bank loan? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Infrastructure bank loan?
And the amount of money that we're talking about, Senator West, is in the.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to make sure I understand it. I'm supportive of it. I just want to make sure I understand it. But
So we have the state infrastructure bank, which provides loans like for these purposes. So the entity would have to show that they are unable to get that loan.
and then we'd be able to provide support.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And then it is limited to 10 million a year.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
It's not totally new ground, but it's a ground that I've taken little steps on for exceptions when you've got somebody that's got a system. It's unusual, but it's not the first time.
It's not the first time we've.
No, sir. We've helped with small communities, disadvantaged communities, things like that on occasion.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both. Anyone else have any more questions? If there's no one else who wants to testify on Senate Bill 2601, we'll close public testimony on the Senate Bill and the committee substitute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. Thank you.
Senator Whitmire? Chair lays out House Bill 842 and recognizes Senate sponsor, Senator Whitmire.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. House Bill 842 by Representative Patterson addresses under the old driver responsibility program, a person with unpaid subcharges would face automatic suspension of their driver's license. If during that suspension they were caught driving with an invalid license, also known as the DWIL, their license suspension was extended by 2 years. Their suspension was extended by 2 years. Even though the law was repealed in 2019 and the initial license suspensions were removed, the extended suspensions continue to trap people in license suspension cycles. Certain judges have noted that this punishment is excessive and also decreases the incentive for the offenders to plead out their old cases and pay their fines. House Bill 842 will help people caught in this loop to regain their good standing by prohibiting their driver's license suspensions from being extended for an offense of driving with an invalid license. The DWIL offense occurred if the DWIL offense occurred before the driver's responsibility program was repealed. Their case is adjudicated after this bill became effective, and and they pay all their fines and fees. It's to, as you know, Mr. Chairman, address a small number of people that have kind of caught during the transition period.
I agree. I mean, we've talked about it. It's kind of like the last of the cleanup. It's the people that got caught in it.
Yes, sir.
Any questions, Senator Whitmire? No questions. No questions. Thank you very much, and we'll open it up for public testimony
Thank you.
on House Bill
Gentlemen.
842. Sarah Mae Jennings, Texas Fair Defense Project. And also registering only in favor but not wish to testify, Thomas Parkinson. Please go ahead and state your name.
Thank you, Chair Nichols. My name is Sarah Mae Jennings. I'm here representing the Texas Fair Defense Project and myself in strong support of House Bill 842. House Bill 842 is a common sense bill that would improve public safety in Texas by increasing the number of licensed drivers on the road. At TFDP, we represent hundreds of people each year who have fallen into what feels like an inescapable cycle of debt and license suspensions. When people cannot pay their legal debt, they receive an arrest warrant, accumulate additional fees, and lose their driver's license under formerly the Driver's Responsibility Program, but still they can lose it under the Omnibase program, a very similar program still in place. They feel stuck, unable to get a job until they have a valid license, unable to get a valid license until they clear their legal debt, but unable to pay off that legal debt until they get a job. The truth of the matter is, even without a valid license, Texans will continue to drive out of necessity to get themselves and their children to work, school, medical appointments, even to court. Inevitably, they will then be ticketed again for driving while license invalid. A conviction for driving while license invalid carries with it an automatic new suspension on the license. Plus, each ticket is hundreds of dollars before any additional warrant fees, late fees, and so on are assessed. You can imagine how these tickets, suspensions, and legal debts snowball quickly for those Texans who are never in a financial position to pay off that first ticket. Having a valid driver's license makes it significantly more likely for a person to have earnings above the poverty level. Driver's license suspensions for failure to pay erect barriers to Texans finding work and getting to work, leading to unemployment and lost wages. A recent study found that the average earnings loss from a suspended driver's license is about $12,700 per year. Limiting extensions of driver's license suspensions for driving while license invalid convictions will promote public safety by reducing the number of unlicensed drivers on the roads in Texas and would be an important step for equity in Texas. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions, this witness? If not, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Does anyone else like to testify on for or against House Bill 842? If not, close public testimony, leave the bill pending. Senator Miles. Chair lays out House Bill 1263. Recognize Senator Miles to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to lay out House Bill 1263 by Representative Sophia Thompson. The City of Houston Public Works uses criteria to exclude Houston high schools from having school zones, Mr. Chairman. In its school zone policy, Houston Public Works states that schools must be clearly defined as an elementary or middle school or junior high school. Additionally, the age of children is considered in the engineering investigation. This exclusion has left most Houston high schools without safety features such as school zone flashing and alert drivers. For example, North Forest High School in my district off of Mesa Road, where its posted speed is 35 miles per hour, but cars regularly ignore the speed limit there. North Forest High School has no permanent school zone flashing lights to alert drivers to slow down, for students to allow for safer entries and exits for school buses and student drivers. There are no school speed limit signs with reduced speed to 20 miles per hour, limited during school and end times of schools. In 2022, there were at least 20 crashes near North Forest High School. When I have tried to drive out there to schools to attend different events, I've experienced firsthand how difficult it is to get out of the parking lot because of speed and traffic. House Bill 1263 prohibits the enforcement of local measures that prevents the designation of schools, cross zones, school crosswalks at high schools such as North Forest High School. The City of Houston would simply have to apply their existing process of engineers, Mr. Chairman, because I know you're an engineer. I know you're interested in that. They just have to include their existing engineers to create school zones around those high schools. This bill only applies to cities with population of 2 million or more, Senator Parker. Chief Pedro Lopez of the Houston ISD Police Department is here and can provide more information about the safety issues around HISD schools. Thank you for allowing me to lay out this bill, House Bill 1263. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Harris County bill,
It's a Houston bill. It's a Houston bill. See,
in Harris County,
in Harris County.
in Harris County.
Y'all got some problems in Harris County, don't you?
Republic of Houston.
I don't have a problem.
Okay, members, any questions?
I have a
Senator Alvarado.
quick question for Senator Miles. Just for clarification, is this bill impacting just the Houston Independent School District or any school in Houston, public or private?
This is going to affect any school with 2 million or more population.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
that
you.
answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, we'll open up for public testimony on House Bill 1263. I do have wishing to testify, oral testimony and resource, Catherine Summerlin, City of Houston. And registering only, not wishing to testify, Dwight Harris, Texas AFT is for the bill. For the bill, Ralph Calvert, Texas Association of School Boards. Against the bill, Ashley Myers, Texas Society of Professional Engineers. And against the bill, what? Wrong one, okay. Please state your name for the record.
Good morning, Chairman Nichols. My name is Catherine Summerlin, and I am with the City of Houston, and I'm testifying against HB 1263.
Okay, go ahead.
Great. We are very disappointed that we're here today testifying against a bill for one school that has already received a number of safety treatments in the last 2 years and has already been approved for construction dollars by TxDOT to address Mesa Road. But here we are. I want to underscore the seriousness with which the City of Houston views transportation safety. In 2019, Mayor Sylvester Turner signed the Vision Zero executive order committing to end traffic deaths and serious injuries on Houston streets by 2030. In 2020, the City of Houston produced its first Vision Zero action plan, which outlines goals, priorities, and a practical approach to addressing deaths and serious injuries on our city streets. We track fatalities and serious injuries with a tool called the High Injury Network, which identifies the worst roads for pedestrians. Then we prioritize those improvements for those streets first. In 2021, when the bipartisan infrastructure law was passed, the City of Houston viewed the BIL as an opportunity to leverage very significant funds to address transportation safety and inequities in specific areas in Houston. In 2022, Houston Public Works and the Planning and Development Departments applied for 5 BIL grants, which included our Vision Zero plan and the High Injury Network in all applications for BIL funding. 3 of 5 of those applications thus far have been awarded a full federal request, including Safe Streets for All, which was the largest, one of the largest, 4th largest award in the United States. In fact, Senator Alvarado stood with me on the podium when the raised grant for $21 million was awarded to the city. HB 1263 eliminates the city traffic engineer's ability to govern a school crossing zone. It conflicts with our code of ordinances. It infringes on our home rule authority. It is in direct contravention with the Texas Engineering Practice Act, and quite frankly, we don't need to do what we already do codified into law.
All right, any questions of this witness? Senator Alvarado?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How many schools would this apply to?
Around 100, and it's not just restricted to HISD. We're talking about 6 other school districts, including Aldine and Alief.
Okay. Have you and Senator Miles talked? Is there some way to reach some middle
We are
ground?
happy to speak with anybody about this bill.
Is this a priority bill for the city of Houston?
It is one of our priorities.
Thank you.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Miles, we have another witness.
I just wanted to address my colleague's question.
Okay.
Yes, we've talked. It's been Metro in the conversation. It's been HISD and the City of Houston, and it's been kind of turbulent. There's different opinions on both sides, and I'm sure you all talked to Representative Thompson as well, correct?
Correct.
All right,
Mr.
we
Chairman.
have one other witness.
Mr.
Let's
Chairman,
call up. Oh,
may
I'm
I
so
ask a
sorry,
question?
Senator Eckhart.
Thank you so much. I have seen instances in which the school district took on the ownership and maintenance of roadways around the campus in order to facilitate this. Has there been any discussion about the school districts, the city of Austin, or city of Houston, excuse me, creating a management, maintenance, and operation of the roadways by the school district so that they could manage their own safety immediately adjacent to the campuses?
We do have TERS and management districts that operate in a similar fashion. The issue is that it is per city ordinance that the city traffic engineer has purview and authority to govern the implementation of safety traffic devices. And so we can't necessarily make or create a special district from an HISD to be able to control those factors. It would conflict with our existing ordinance.
Could you cede those roads into what is essentially private roads owned by the ISDs?
It's getting into an area of law that I am not that familiar with, but I'm sure our city legal team can certainly look into it.
I see the dilemma. Certainly, if I were a city official and I owned, maintained, and operated the roads for the public interest, I would want to maintain control over those that I was responsible for. But perhaps there is a middle ground. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have another witness, Pedro Lopez, Houston ISD. Chief of Police for the school. Please state your name for the record.
Pedro Lopez Jr.
Floor is yours.
May I begin? Good morning, Chairman Nichols, Vice Chair West, and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Pedro Lopez. I'm the Chief of Police for the Houston Independent School District, and I'm here to speak in favor of House Bill 1263. I would like to thank Senator Boris Miles for sponsoring House Bill 1263 and for his steadfast dedication to the safety of the students of HISD. The HISD Police Department works to ensure students and staff are safe. The HISD Police Department is currently undergoing Texas Police Chief Association Best Practices Accreditation Program to assist the department in the delivery of efficient and effective services to our citizens. The HISD Police Department responds to more than 63,000 calls per year, and we cover more than 300 square miles in the Houston area. This is why HISD supports this school zone safety bill to ensure our high school kids are safe by preventing the city of Houston from excluding high schools from its school zone criteria. The HISD Police Department, in collaboration with campus principals, surveyed the district's high schools, and almost all of the high school campuses do not have school zone features such as flashing beacons, speed limit markers, or yellow school zone signs, which are vital to alerting drivers. Currently, the city's Public Works Department excludes high schools from being considered to be school zones. On the handout, you will see the Public Works Department's document, which states that a school must be an elementary, middle, or junior high school to be considered for the designation of a school zone. However, when it comes to school zones, elected officials have consistently upheld safety, including for high school students. State laws on reduced speed school zone, crossing zones, and school crosswalks clearly include secondary schools, such as high schools. These statutes will not limit or give authority to a city to exclude a high school. Safety zones are vital for protecting high school students. I'm confident that the city public works departments are good people who want to keep our kids safe. This bill will ensure we are doing what we can to protect our communities and our kids. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Members, questions? Obviously, apparently, y'all have had communication between the city and yourself,
Yes, sir.
and there seems to be a disagreement on what to do. What seems to,
A stalemate.
it's a stalemate,
Yes, sir.
and it's the kids' safety.
Correct.
I think the kids' safety should be number one here.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Chairman, I think you should know that 70% of HISD schools do not have safety zones. 70%.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else like to testify on for or against House Bill 1263? If not, we'll close public testimony.
I think you have one other.
Oh, we did have somebody else? Yes. Okay, please come up. Did you fill out a card?
Yes, he did.
All right, well, We'll find it. Go ahead and sit down and state your name for the record and begin your testimony.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and committee members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning. My name is Kang Nguyen. I am the city traffic engineer for the city of Houston. I'm here testifying on the bill, but the city of Houston has great traffic concern regarding this bill. Okay. The city of Houston shares the goals of House Bill 1263 to ensure the safety of school children. The city of Houston has a well-established school safety program that works closely with school principals to develop traffic plans that balances traffic, pedestrian safety, and mobility. We have a dedicated school group that manages the program and regularly conducts traffic safety analysis around schools, including high schools, and recommends safety enhancement. The tools in the program include school zones, which is reduced speed zone, parking restriction, bus zone, crosswalk, always stop control, pedestrian signal, full traffic signal, and others. At any particular school, our school group could recommend a combination of these tools depending on their findings and the context of the area. All the tools except the reduced speed zone are currently available for high schools. In light of recent safety research and our Vision Zero efforts, we do plan to update the program to include the reduced speed zone for high schools. Installation of traffic control devices must follow warrant criteria from the Texas Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, as well as other national and local standards. Inappropriate implementation can defy driver expectation and could lead to unsafe driving behavior and crashes. The proposed language in House Bill 1263 focuses on two tools, the school zone and school crosswalk, and the language so broad that it will pose conflicts with the Texas Manual and the city ordinance. Instead of focusing on two of the tools available for school traffic safety, we would like the bill to be amended to a comprehensive school safety program. The program should require traffic safety evaluation, data-driven recommendation, and close coordination with the school. The program should also require professional engineers to guide responsible practice and implementation of safety features. At a minimum, the bill should be amended to require any requests by school district or anyone, the way it's written right now, anyone can request, be recommended and approved by a professional traffic engineer. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you for being here. It's pretty apparent that the school doesn't feel that the city is acting in a timely manner.
Timely, Mr. Chairman, 70% of our schools don't have safety zones at all.
All right, Senator.
Timely? I'd say so, yeah.
Senator Miles,
Senator Hancock.
if I'm correct, we have like 4.5 weeks before session's over as this bill moves through the process.
Yes, sir.
Sounds like enough time to get together, and if they don't want this legislation, to work out an agreement before we get to the end of the line.
Senator Hancock, I can assure you that all three parties have been in the rooms multiple times.
Yeah, but now they have legislation to deal with if they don't want it, then I would think work out an agreement before this gets to the end of the line.
I think the representatives, the governmental affairs persons from all those three entities are present. I appreciate that recommendation, and I think we have time to take that into consideration.
Okay, thank you very much for coming, sir. I had one more card registering only for, not wishing to testify, Susie Kennan for the bill, Texas PTA. Does anyone else like to testify on for or against House Bill 1263? If not, we'll close public testimony and leave the bill pending. Senator LaMantia.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chair lays out House Senate Bill 2179, recognizes Senator LaMantia to explain the bill. And then there is a committee substitute. So
Yes, sir, there's
when you
committee
get to that part, explain the difference between the substitute.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. And thank you. SB 2179 provides liability protections for firms that perform construction, engineering, and inspection, or CEI, services on behalf of the Texas Department of Transportation. In recent years, TxDOT has begun contracting with private firms to provide oversight for construction projects related to transportation facilities. These oversight duties are known as CEI services. With limited scope, CEI firms monitor the work of general contractors during construction and report their findings to the department. CEI firms have no control over the design engineer, the contractor's construction methods, or logistics like traffic management and maintenance. These firms are not project managers and solely provide observation and reporting services on behalf of TxDOT. However, despite their supervisory role, CEI firms still get caught up in lawsuits involving matters out of their own control and purview. As a result of these suits, firms face increased insurance premiums and overhead costs, which increases project costs for TxDOT. SB 2179 addresses these issues by ensuring CEI firms maintain liability within the bounds of their responsibilities. The committee substitute further specifies when a company would not be held liable as it relates to the project and clarifies that limitations only apply to professional firms providing CEI services for TxDOT. Most importantly, the sub also states that limitations do not apply to claims involving gross negligence or wanton misconduct. We should have invited witnesses here that can speak more on this and happy to answer any questions, but we also ask that this bill be left pending in committee as there's a House bill. The House bill version is being...
Oh, so you want us to hold it for the House bill?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, and also, for the record, Senator West sent up the committee substitute. So thank you very much. Any questions from the members? If not, we'll open up public testimony on Senate Bill 2179 and the committee substitute. I've got Peyton McKnight wants to come up. As a resource, I have Brian Barth, TxDOT, and Restring, not wishing to testify, Julio Flores, Regional Hispanic Contractors, is for the bill, and Jay McCart for the bill. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, members, Peyton McKnight with ACEC Texas, representing about 500 plus engineering firms in the state of Texas. We're for the bill, for Senate Bill 2179. Senator LaMantia laid it out perfectly. This is a real issue that we face, and we think this bill, coupled with some contractual changes that TxDOT made, will really help us out. So I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions? I think I would like Brian Barth, please come up. Did you have an opportunity to look at the committee substitute?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so would you explain in your own words what you think this does and the need for it?
I think in general, the bill really outlines what the CE&I consultant does for us in practice better than it did before.
Okay.
And so I don't believe it has any impact on our operations, or it doesn't add any liability to us.
Yeah, because I know we're using a lot of engineers for inspecting and some project work and stuff like that. Okay,
Yep.
all right, thank you very much. Anyone else have any questions? Anybody else like to testify on for or against Senate Bill 2179, the committee substitute? If not, leave the bill pending. Close public testimony. Senator Parker, you ready? Chair lays out Senate Bill 1542. Recognize Senator Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. Appreciate the opportunity to come before you and lay out this morning Senate Bill 1542. It's an important piece of legislation that seeks to honor the brave soldiers who were part of the Lost Battalion during World War II. The Lost Battalion was made up of approximately 902 members of America's military, including members from the Army, Navy, and Marines, who were taken prisoner by the Japanese in March of 1942 and held as prisoners of war for 42 months. They were subjected to extreme brutality, harsh work conditions, starvation, and disease while serving as prisoners of war. The Lost Battalion was referred to as such because of their disappearance. They were eventually liberated, and among them were 5 men from Bridgeport, Texas, 4 of whom eventually made it home, while 1 died in October of 1943. Senate Bill 1542 seeks to designate a section of U.S. Highway 380 in Wise and Jack counties as the Lost Battalion Memorial Highway in honor of these brave soldiers. The bill requires the Department of Transportation to design and construct markers indicating the designation and stand them up at appropriate locations along the highway. This designation is a small but meaningful way to remember the sacrifices and bravery of the Lost Battalion and to recognize the contributions of all those who served our country in times of war and peace. Mr. Chairman, I do have a committee substitute that will adjust the length of the designated highway due to a local designation already assigned to a piece of the highway that was included in the original filed version. Happy to answer any questions. I know we got.
Okay, for the record, Senator Parker's sent that committee substitute up. Any questions, Senator Parker? Then we'll open it up public testimony on Senate Bill 1542. Only card I've got is from Kevin Burns. It's for the bill, not wishing to testify. So he's speaking on behalf of himself and Wise County Commissioners Court.
Absolutely. Commissioner Burns made a heroic effort to be here today to show support for this effort. It's very important to folks in Wise County, and really appreciate your support, Mr. Chairman, and those of the committee to get this done.
Okay, so we'll close public testimony on Senate Bill 1542, and as I understand it, the House bill is on its way over.
That's my understanding, yes, sir.
All right, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And so we'll go to Senator Hancock. Chair lays out Senate Bill 2200 and recognize Senator Hancock.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Senate Bill 2200, safety and service patrols are operated by the Texas Department of Transportation on highways and arterial roads, provide a free of charge traffic management service to assist motorists in need of support in clearing mirror crashes and area roadways. Although authorization of the federal law, Texas state law does not currently permit TxDOT to use sponsorship for SSP programs, and Senate Bill 2200 allows that to take place.
Okay, any questions, Senator Hancock? We'll open up public testimony on Senate Bill 2200. I've got Brian Barth as a resource. I'm not showing any cards. Were you expecting any witnesses? Okay. Well, unless there's someone else like to testify on Senate Bill 2200, we'll close public testimony and leave the bill pending. All right, what do we got next?
Alvarado can lay out Zaffarini's bill.
Can you lay out Zaffarini's, Senator?
Sure.
Chair lays out Senate Bill 1716 and asks Senator Alvarado to explain Senator Zaffarini's bill. And there is a committee substitute.
Yes, sir.
So Senator Alvarado will lay that out and explain it when you get to it.
Okay. So current law limits the term of leases for operating airports and associated air navigation facilities to 40 years. Senate Bill 1716 would increase the maximum term limits for contracts, leases, or other arrangements related to the operation of airports and air navigation facilities operated by or on behalf of local governments. The committee substitute, I'll address that. It changes the maximum term limits for airports and air navigation facility contracts, leases, and other arrangements from 99 years to 50 years. This ensures compliance with Federal Aviation Administration requirements. Equally important, it was requested by the chair. Very important detail there.
Well, it's federal requirement. Feds told us and not mentioned it. Senator Hancock?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I would just, and I don't know if we need to put it in here, that if we're going to do this and have that investment, that there would be a requirement that you have a right of first refusal on a lease where we're spending that much money, or even a municipality spend that much money on the asset.
Well, hold on. Senator West.
Senator West?
Thank you, Senator, Mr. Chairman. A right of first refusal.
Just on the lease, we've seen where we've made significant investments on leased land and lose.
Like Riverside.
I mean, it's just, I think it makes sense before you make major investment of any municipality or the state that you at least have that clause in there on the lease, if feasible, with the owners, where you're going to invest a lot of assets.
Gotcha.
Okay, that is not in the bill. I don't disagree with you, but Senator Zaffarini is not even here.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll talk to her.
She's next door.
Okay, but knowing her, she probably would be amicable to amending it on the floor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll talk to her.
Okay. We'll now open up public testimony on Senate Bill 1716. We've got Dan Harmon with TxDOT as a resource. Registering, not wishing to testify, Jim Wimberly, San Marcos Regional Airport. Anyone else like to testify on for or against Senate Bill 1716, the committee substitute. If not, we'll close public testimony. We'll leave the bill pending.
Parker's got these next to this.
Okay, Senator Parker, I understand you're going to lay out, okay. Chair lays out Senate Bill 414 and recognize Senator Parker to explain Senator Paxton's bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members, for the opportunity to lay out Senator Paxton's bill, Senate Bill 414. This past January, Rains County passed a resolution to honor Mildred McMillan Garrett, a World War II Army Corps veteran who left deep footprints in her community. Mildred's family lived in the Lake Fork Creek area before Rains County was established, and Mildred was one of 2 women from Rains County to join the Army Air Corps during World War II. After discharge, Mildred devoted her life to public service. Among many achievements, Mildred was honored with 11 years of service from Meals on Wheels, served in the Rains Ambulance Volunteer Service, and was the first black woman to serve on the Emory City Council. Senate Bill 414 recognizes and honors the legacy of Mildred McMillan, memorializing the State Highway 19 bridge crossing Lake Fork in Rains County as the Mildred McMillan Garrett Memorial Bridge. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the chance to lay out Senator Paxton's bill.
Any questions? We'll open up public testimony on Senate Bill 414. I'm not seeing any cards. Does anyone like to testify? I see a lady coming up. Not on this, okay. Then, hearing none, we'll close public testimony on Senate Bill 414. Leaves the bill pending. And do you have Senator Bettencourt?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Chair lays out Senate Bill 2515, recognizes Senator Parker to explain the bill, and also Senator Parker will send up the committee substitute and explain it as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. Honored to bring forward here Senator Bettencourt's bill. Approved by voters in 1983, the Harris County Toll Road Authority has managed the construction, operation, and maintenance of a network of toll roads facilitating traffic through and around the heavily congested greater Houston area. However, in the past, Harris County has tried to divert money raised by HCTRA to pay for pet projects throughout the county. Money raised or allocated by HCTRA should only be used to fund road projects. In 2020, Democrats on the Harris County Commissioners Court successfully pushed through a controversial plan that shifts toll road system funds into county coffers and circumvents original restrictions on how tollway revenues could be used. In response, Chairman Nichols, thank you, Chairman, passed Senate Bill 1727, which prohibited Harris County from creating a local government corporation to develop, construct, operate, manage, or finance a toll project or system. Further, it prohibits any existing LGC created by Harris County from undertaking or extending any new bonds, notes, or other obligations. Lastly, it required that revenue earned by such an LGC can only be used to pay the cost of a turnpike project or road, street, or highway projects. However, since Senate Bill 1727 passed during the 87th legislative session, the Harris County Commissioners Court used $53 million of HCTRA funds to connect existing hiking, cycling, and running trails and building new ones using surplus revenues under a tolls to trailways plan. These toll roads were paid for by the public. Therefore, the money should be spent on the public. Earlier this year, the Commissioners Court in Harris County finalized a planned 10% decrease in tolls, which for the first time dropped the price at dozens of tolling points along the HCTRA system. The committee's substitute makes it clear that any toll revenue or other revenue of a project that is collected by a county or a local government corporation under this chapter may only be used by the county or local government corporation for roads, streets, highways, and related facilities. The committee's substitute also creates an enforcement mechanism that will be administered by the comptroller. For the first offense, the fine would be 10% of the money taken from HCTRA, and they would still have to return the money back to HCTRA. Any offense after the first offense, the county would be required to adopt the no new revenue rate for the next fiscal year. Senator Bettencourt says they will need to do a floor amendment to address 2 drafting errors in the substitute. The first is ensuring that flood control projects related to roads are included in the bill. The second is that adding that the comptroller must return the money from the fines to HCTRA, which was not included by Ledge Council. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, members, for the chance to lay out Senator Bettencourt's bill.
Okay, members, any questions? Senator Alvarado?
Well, I'm not going to question Senator Parker because I'm sure he doesn't know the answers to this, but any minute I'm going to have to go lay out a bill. welcome to Harris County Commissioners Court or Houston City Council. It's kind of been like that all session. This bill was going to be a statewide bill. Now it's just bracketed to Harris County. Is that correct?
I didn't do that. I think it was always bracketed to Harris County.
Okay. My understanding that it was bracketed later. So I'll ask the witnesses this, but I've just kind of had it to here with all the attack on local control on Harris County, on Houston City Council. Hopefully I'll get enough time to ask some of the witnesses questions, but that's the first thing I wanted to talk about was whether or not it was just bracketed in committee substitute or was it originally that way?
I know last session I had a piece of legislation that the legislature approved, and the issue was Harris County, the county was going to set up an entity and move the toll road revenues over to that, and then they were going to take massive amounts of toll road money out of that for flood projects and a whole wide range of other things, which a number of us thought was not what should have been done. And I think in some of the language of the original legislation, it was transportation oriented. And that money should be, and some of the federal part of the money actually is in federal statute, has to be spent on transportation related projects. So we did that bill last session and thought that should have been it. But since then, they're still taking money out, and I know Bob's going to come up in a second and explain some of this. And maybe he can give a better background on it.
Sure. I'd love to hear from Mr. Colley.
Okay.
And I'm told that the original bill was a statewide bill, and then it was bracketed in the substitute.
You talking about this session?
For this bill.
Yeah, but I did not put my touch on that part. So let me go ahead.
I know you
Mr.
like
Chairman,
bracketing.
We'll give us the definitive answer.
really
but,
did- and all-
I'm just looking here at the bill book, and as filed, it looks like it was linked just to Harris County, but I could be wrong.
The original bill.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Okay, so we'll open up public testimony on Senate Bill 2515 and the committee substitute. Wishing to testify, Bob Collier, come on up, Harris County Toll Road Authority, is against the bill. Gregory Porter, Texas for Liberty, Turf, for the bill, come on up. Is Gregory here? Yes. All right. And then Rachel Hell, Grassroots America, for the bill, come on up.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
and I know Senator Parker, you probably cannot answer this question. The bill says revenues cannot be used for anything other than roads, streets, highways, projects, or toll projects or system. So it's my understanding, based on the presentation, that the monies were being used for what?
Well, specific, yeah, so it looks like for bike trails and for.
He's not the expert.
No, that's
I'm
what
not the expert, sir.
I understand, but in your layout.
Based on the layout, yes,
it
from the
was
senator.
bike trails and what else?
For hiking, cycling, and running trails.
And the problem is what?
They use it for flood projects, too.
Okay, but as it relates to those projects, those are transportation type projects.
But we've got some witnesses here.
Okay, all right.
All right, go ahead, Bob.
My name is Bob Colley. I'm a lawyer with the Greenberg Traurig Law Firm in Houston. For the last 30 years or so, I've served as one of the outside counsel to the Harris County Toll Road Authority. I have submitted some written testimony, and I received a copy with respect to the bill as filed. I received the committee substitute only just before this hearing began and have only had a chance to look at it briefly. But based on what I've seen, I would oppose it as well on behalf of the Toll Road Authority. In my written testimony, I had called out a couple of features of the bill as filed. I'm looking at the copy of Senate Bill 2515 as filed, and it does not, to me, appear to be bracketed. It was to Harris County. It was a very simple bill amending Chapter 284 of the Transportation Code, which applies to Harris County, it applies to Fort Bend County, it applies to Missouri County, in all counties that are adjacent to Harris County and potentially to other counties in the state. So I believe it was general in his application, although it's clear that the committee substitute is not. In my written testimony, I addressed some of the shortcomings that Harris County sees in the bill as filed, but the first couple of those that are noted in my written testimony would not apply to the committee substitute. Namely, I thought that the phrases usage and the word roads were unduly limited and in the context of Chapter 284, which is a very much more detailed statute, would cause more confusion than they would anything else and result in a lot of very difficult restrictions. But the remainder of my written testimony, I think, would apply to the committee substitute as set out by Senator Parker.
Go ahead.
There is a misconception about Harris County's use of funds for flood and bike and pedestrian purposes. With respect to flood purposes, there is a close intertwining between roads and drainage. And to the extent that there is this direct connection, then flood improvements, flood mitigation is a necessary part of road construction. And that's what Harris County toll money has been used for and is being used for. We review these periodically. The county attorney's office does, the county engineer, the toll road authority, so that there must be a direct connection between the flood expenditure. If I understood Senator Parker's mention a minute ago, it was to the effect that flood would also be, by way of a floor amendment, or an amendment to the committee substitute, there would be a flood exception as well as an exception for roads. That wasn't quite clear to me, but it's very important that flood improvements and mitigation that relate to roads be authorized. You can't do both in Harris County. We've had 3 tremendous floods in the last 5 or 6 years, and we just can't build roads without flood mitigation that are directly related. We're not talking about taking this money on non-toll road or non-road related. Harris County Toll Road Authority is not doing that. They never have done that to my knowledge. So let's turn to the bike trails. There has been a lot of bad publicity about that, inaccurate publicity. The facts are that there are requirements of either the Americans for Disability or there are regulations that TxDOT has. There are others that apply to the construction of roads. And for traffic safety purposes, these improvements, these adjustments have to be made, modifications made in roads so that they are safe for pedestrians and bikers. There is. I
have to ask you to wrap it up.
Yes, sir. I would say what Harris County is doing in that regard is no different than other toll agencies throughout the state. You can go to the websites for the NTTA and for Central Texas Regional Mobility, and you'll see they are doing the same
You're
thing.
saying they got in the newspapers wrong or something?
They're
Bad
prejudiced. Yes, I guess we're not surprised that that sometimes happens.
Okay, thanks.
I have questions, sir.
Senator Eckhart.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for being here.
Mhm.
I'm reading your written testimony
Yes.
with interest because, of course, we have the Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority here that is also engaged in sidewalks, shared use paths, bioswales, to filter runoff, sound walls, vegetative buffers, transit pullouts. In your legal opinion, would all of these be prohibited by this bill?
They could be. That's the confusion that this raises. In the toll to trails, which was mentioned, I think, by Senator Parker, the expenditures by Harris County are not for the whole system. They are for the safety components of the biking and pedestrian improvements. And if there's not private funding or non-HECTRA funding for that, HECTRA's funding does not go through. It is contingent, it's dependent on the other funding. And to say that in the case of these toll to trails, that Harris County told us paying for the whole thing, that's wrong. They're doing the safety portions of it as required by regulations.
What have been what have been the parade of horribles that were completely unrelated to transportation and public safety that have been allegedly paid for by the Toll Authority?
The toll of trails is one of them that I'm familiar with. The flood transfers have been also highlighted. That may not be a problem with the bill if it gets amended that way, but those are again related to roads and they're necessary, directly related to the roads. So the list of terribles, I think the hike and pedestrian the bike and pedestrian is the most talked about one, but that's only for safety purposes and is on the trail to tolls. That is for safety aspects of the project and dependent on other funding.
And these bike trails, I also would imagine, as they do here, there was great concern that toll roads would cut communities in half.
Correct.
And the utilization of hike and bike trails is one tool to reconnect them.
And there are federal regulations on this as well, besides the ADA, and there are TxDOT regulations on this as well.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Rachel?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Pull the mic around, state your name for the record.
Sure. Good morning. My name is Rachel Hell, and I'm representing Grassroots America, We the People, and Texas Eagle Forum, and we are for this bill. Harris County Toll Authority is one of the worst offenders of rating toll revenues for non-road purposes. Toll payers are not getting a transparent system, and rating toll funds for other purposes violates truth in taxation. In fact, drivers were promised by county commissioners once the road was paid for, the tolls would come down. Not only has this not happened, the surplus revenue has not gone to removing the tolls sooner. It has literally been used as a slush fund for county commissioners to raid from everything from healthcare to the Houston Sports Authority, which clearly has nothing to do with roads these drivers are paying for. It is time to end this abuse. Your former colleague, Steve Ogan, hammered on this issue when HB 2702 passed in 2005. He was adamant that the toll revenue must stay with the segment of tolled highway only. Once you move money around, it's a betrayal to the taxpayers and truth in taxation. According to an ABC News report, Houston story in 2012, the Hardy Toll Road construction cost $287 million. Yet the Harris County Toll Authority has made that back by 2004, and by 2012, they had collected $617 million in tolls. A portion of Sam Houston cost $72 million to build, yet $865 million was paid in tolls in 2012. The construction of this road has been paid for 12 times. The Houston Chronicle reported in 2012 that $900 million has been diverted to county commissioner precincts since 2003. This is bolstering their spending power. This abuse in taxation has not only grown, we don't even have current numbers. SB 2015 was needed decades ago. We would like to see this bill go further and actually be amended to capture all toll entities covered under Chapter 372. Please vote this out of committee today. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator West.
Okay, Bob, you heard that testimony.
Yes, sir.
About examples of rating the revenue and for Sports Authority, healthcare, et cetera.
I don't know what they're talking about on the Sports Authority. The toll road system is a pooled system of half a dozen or more toll roads. That is the system. Money from one facility goes to pay for others. It's cross-collateralized, yes, sir. And the comment about the Sports Authority, I don't know what that is.
What about healthcare?
I don't know what that is either.
I assume your name again is?
Rachel Hell.
Do you have documentation of that?
I do. It's on the ABC Houston and the Houston Chronicle. But yes, I'll pull it for you. They reported on it in 2012.
It'd be great if you could provide that.
I will.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Alvarado.
Sports Authority was created by the legislature, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It was authorized in 97.
So them receiving money from HECTRA would probably be some kind of violation or just something that's not even allowed, right?
Yes. I mean, the sources of funding for the Sports Authority are totally independent of the HECTRA system. I don't know what that reference is.
Because they have very designated revenue streams.
There's sales
Sports
tax
Authority.
and hotel
Right.
occupancy tax. I mean,
Okay.
not sales tax, but car rental tax and hotel.
So I'd be happy to look at the testament. Do you live in Harris County?
I do not.
Where do you reside?
In East Texas.
Okay. Well,
We have a toll road out there. And I
And-
travel here a lot, so I'm on the toll roads. And the point is that the only constitutional funded tax is our gas tax. Everything else can be rated because it's not in a constitutional logbox.
Gas tax is rated too.
thank you.
Okay,
The federal government, yeah.
we'll go.
They're trying to-
Please, sir, state your name for record.
Yes, sir. Gregory Porter. I'm here representing Texas for Liberty and Turf also. Chairman, thank you for having me speak and for the bill. I'm also speaking on behalf of this as well, and I actually agree with Senator Eckhart about making sure that we have sufficient resources to fund things that are ancillary to this. As someone who's done some real estate development before, flood control is natural as a result of adding impervious cover and so forth. The concern that I have and the reason why I think this is a good bill is we really, I think just in general as a body, need to begin to start to frame the context of some of the spending for these. The things that are most concerning to me as a taxpayer and somebody who does use these roads is you see the cost of the projects and compared to the incredible amount of money that's being generated from these things, and we have to put some framework around that. And I also agree that we should really look to expand this. It shouldn't be a tack on something that's happening in Houston in general. I think what we see across the board is, at least from a taxpayer perspective, we've been promised that these things are going to be used to float a bond and to pay them back. And in fact, what they're being used for is a mechanism to fund other things. So this does put some framework around that. I absolutely do agree with some of the sensible aspects of the costing that needs to go into these projects. But in general, as a body, I hope that we'll be more conscious about framing the nature of the funding for these in general and really look to them as not trying to create some kind of special access as a funding source for things outside of their natural purview. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank all of y'all. I've got a few cards to read. Stephen Albright, not wish to testify for the bill. Against the bill is Jennifer Hedaya, Air Alliance Houston. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Is against the bill, not wishing to testify. Against the bill, Paul Sud, Harris County Commissioners Court, is against the bill. And Jason Sabood, Environment Texas, is against the bill. Does anyone else like to testify on, for, or against Senate Bill 2515 or the committee substitute? If not, close public testimony, will leave it pending.
Hancock is going to lay out the Hughes bills.
Senator Hancock, you have the Hughes bill? Okay, Chair lays out House Bill 3106. Recognize Senator Hancock to explain
3108.
Senator Hughes. Huh?
There's two of them.
You have 3108, which one you got in front of you?
House Bill 3106.
3106?
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members, thank you for our opportunity to lay out House Bill 3106 on highway redesignation. During World War I, nearly 1 million Texans registered to draft and roughly 200,000 served in the armed forces. Over 5,000 Texans eventually lost their lives in the service of the country. House Bill 3106 would designate a portion of State Highway 49 in Titus County as the Titus County World War I Veterans Memorial Highway and allow the construction of the markers that indicate that designation.
Okay, any questions, members? We'll open up public testimony on House Bill 3106. I'm not showing any cards. Does anyone like to testify? If not, we'll close public testimony on House Bill 3106, leave the bill pending. Senator Hancock. Chair lays out House Bill 3108 and recognize Senator Hancock to explain Senator Hughes' bill.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity to lay out House Bill 3108. 3108 would redesignate a portion of Farm Market Road 2348 in memory of Staff Sergeant Clay Allen Craig. Staff Sergeant Craig was a Texan who joined the Army in June of 2003. He was assigned to the 1st Squadron of 75th Cavalry Regiment, the 2nd Brigade Combat Team, and the 101st Airborne Division. Sergeant Clay made the ultimate sacrifice while serving in Iraq when he received small arms fire during combat operation. Sergeant Craig received the following awards and decorations: Army Commendation Medal, the Army Good Conduct Medal, the Iraq Campaign Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Overseas Service Ribbon, Combat Infantry Badge, the Expert Infantry Badge, the Air Assault Badge, and Weapons Qualification M4 Expert. He was posthumously awarded a Bronze Star and a Purple Heart. House Bill 3108 would be a simple but meaningful way to display our appreciation to Sergeant Craig's sacrifice and service to his family.
Okay, we'll open up public testimony on House Bill 3108. I'm not showing any cards. Does anyone here like to testify on House Bill 3108? If not, we'll close public testimony. The bill pending, Senator West.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Chair lays out Senate Bill 2567 and recognize Senator West.
Members, this bill, I'm going to be asked to be left pending. We're waiting for the House bill to come over, and there's still a lot of work to be done. I was going to pull up a committee substitute, but I think I'll wait on that so we can get all the work done on it. In recent years, Texas has gained unwanted notoriety over the issuance of paper temporary license plates. Paper temporary license plates have been obtained by some who do not actually sell cars or who do not sell automobiles consistent with the number of temporary license plates they sell. We see them on the internet, and they're being sold all over America. Some temporary plates are brought by people to intentionally avoid purchasing automobile insurance, vehicle registration, or state inspection. Even worse, and we'll hear about some of this today, these temporary license plates have been placed on vehicles by those who commit crimes as a way to avoid apprehension. Thousands of temporary license plates have been seen in New York, Nevada, all over the country on cars that were not bought here in Texas. Vehicles with temporary plates have been connected to crimes that have resulted in deaths of members of law enforcement, such as the one that took place in Grand Prairie. And our chief of police from Grand Prairie is here, and that's in my senatorial district. Last fall, we passed the House Bill 3927 by the 87th legislature. The department took action. The Department of Motor Vehicles took action to correct the problem, but members, the problem still persists, and we've got to do something about it. Senate Bill 2567 is the Senate companion to House Bill 718 that eliminates the issuance of temporary license plates. The bill would require permanent metal plates to be issued to automobile dealers at the time of a vehicle purchase. Now, let me say this: since we began moving the bill, a lot of persons from different industries have come and made the case that we still need, in some instances, temporary plates. We need to make certain there are no unintended consequences in terms of passage of this particular bill. And so I'm going to be wanting to hear, Mr. Chairman and members, some of the concerns with this bill to make sure we invite everyone to the table, along with the department, to make certain that we reduce unintended consequences, but make certain that we address this issue concerning the use of temporary Texas plates throughout this entire country.
Okay, members, any questions, Senator West? Then we'll open up public testimony on Senate Bill 2567. As a resource, I've got Roland Luna, Texas Department of Motor Vehicles, and Mark Borski, Texas Recreational Vehicle Association. And so wishing to testify, so I'll start calling these names, y'all come on up. David Kohler, Jose Escribero, Travis County Constable, Precinct 3. Sorry, I butchered your name, sir.
It's okay, I'm used to it, sir.
And Daniel, looks like Slelsness, S-L, okay. Grand Prairie, and then, can't read any of these. Tawny Sobrig from New Braunfels. All right, so that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll just start in the order we called you up. Please state your name, pull the mic around, and state your name for the record.
Does that sound okay? David Kohler. I'm here representing myself in support of this bill. So I've been in law enforcement over 31 years now, and the opportunity to catch a burglar or armed robbery in progress in the time that I've been in law enforcement does not even compare night and day to paper tags that I see every single day when I'm at work. There was legislation last session, as you mentioned. However, we're still here, so that means there's more work to be done. We're not finished with this yet. The common denominator is this piece of paper right here. And that's why we're all here again today. So paper tags affect lives. And there's so many rabbit trails that they can go down. I can't fathomly demonstrate all that in just a few minutes. So I appreciate this piece of legislation. I appreciate HB 718 and the fact of finally trying to get rid of paper tags, which is exactly what we need to do in the name of Terrence Solbrig, Brandon Sy, Kayla Sullivan, and Everett Briscoe. And I appreciate your time, your effort, your zeal for this, and I can try to answer any questions if you may have.
Members, any questions? I will tell you, I'm kind of walked through this thing myself. There was organized crime involved.
Yes, sir.
And these plates, and the way they used the DMV was by opening up a string of illegal dealerships, in effect.
Yes, sir.
Fake dealerships, and then they would legally get those tags and they'd sell them, and the department would try to shut them down as fast as they can, department being DMV.
Yes.
Legislation that we created last year allowed them to shut them down before they really got going at all. And then, but the industry, I'm talking about the crime industry, they just print these suckers out on their computers and make
Correct.
copies of them. But they also, just in case anybody's not aware of this, they also make fake metal tags, metal plates.
Correct.
The way the plates are made, they're flat, and it's really a label. Everybody's license plates are a label that goes on a flat metal plate. And there's illegally being sold out there today the same thing on metal plates.
Correct.
And anyway, all right, we'll go to you, sir. You're next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Sergeant Jose Escribano, Travis County Constable's Office, Precinct Number 3, Stacy Suits Constable. I am here for and speaking on behalf of and for Senate Bill 2567 concerning the paper tags. I've been investigating paper tags since 2017. I'm on my 6th year. This is as close as we've come to being able to shut this down. The benefits of this bill is going to be it's going to clean up the industry. We believe it will. It's also going to clean up and increase registrations for your counties and your infrastructure. Also, it benefits law enforcement because we won't have to contend and deal with this. Also, it is going to dramatically reduce the fraud that you have. Yeah, it is true that they can do plates, the hard metal plates, but that's a little more difficult. This one right here, you can go ahead and if you have Adobe Pro and you're at least 6 years of age, you can go ahead and do one. That said, I'm not going to beat the dead horse. I want to thank Senator West for his efforts on this. It's going to increase or dramatically assist us in the efforts that we have in law enforcement. But make no mistake, every year in the state of Texas, again, the way the system is set up, and yeah, 3927 did curtail some of that from the department, but it's so easy right now to produce these tags. Even when you're within the system is, again, has some major holes in it. Specifically, if I can be a dealer and get my license and I can produce, let's say, an internet down tag, because I can get 30 of them, and I can resell that tag 1 million times on the internet. That's how easy it is, even when you're an actual dealer. And there's more things that I can cover on this whole thing. But I'll leave it at that. I'm open for any questions that you may have. I'm also a resource.
All right, thank you. Ma'am, please state your name.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Tawny Sobrig, and I am here on behalf of my son Terrence Sobrig because he was killed in an accident on October 4, 2020, by a driver that had illegal paper tags for years. I was naive to the situation until I realized that this gentleman was able to obtain a car that was not in his name, that was not registering years, inspection years, and was able to get temporary tags for every 90 days. He was able to get his tags because of a fake dealer was able to get it into the e-tag system and issue these tags. So when the officer ran the VIN number, it matched. He said, "Oh, it's fine. You don't have any insurance? It was an accident. Go home. No ticket, no nothing." And my son paid the ultimate consequences for Texas actions because the DMV was allowed to have this loophole and they were not watched They were not held accountable. They knew about it since 2017, and Whitney Brewster was allowed to run that system for that department down. And if the DMV listened to these officers years ago, my son would have celebrated his 21st birthday this year. It's not a victimless crime. It's not, guys. It could happen to your family. And I have to say, I'm a little bitter because if I think about it, if it did happen to your family, it wouldn't took so long. 18 years old, had to pay the consequences of Texas action and decisions, and that's not right. We have enough problems in this world, in this state. Why are we adding more to it? Why can't we nip it in the butt and fix it? I don't know if paper or these metal plates are going to be the solution, but it's better than what we have now. We're a laughing stock to other states because of this. It's gotten a little bit better. My husband and I constantly play the paper tag game on the highway, but it's not fixing it. You're putting lives in danger. 18-year-olds, officers who protect you. It's time to fix it.
I'm very sorry for your loss, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you. Do it. Fix it. If you're sorry, fix it. Don't wait another 2 years.
We'll continue to do something about this.
Thank you.
Sir, please go ahead and state your name for the record.
Mr. Chairman and committee members, thank you for this honor. You have no idea how meaningful it is to me to be in this building before you today trying to make Texas safer. My name is Daniel Cesny. I am the Chief of Police for the Grand Prairie Police Department. I also represent the Texas Police Chiefs Association in support of Senate Bill 2567. Just a few months ago, Grand Prairie Police Officer Brandon Sy died in a collision while in pursuit of a criminal displaying a fictitious paper license plate. That same tag had been scanned on hundreds of different vehicles just in the Dallas area alone. And what I've learned since then is just how pervasive this problem continues to be. Simply put, anybody with a computer and a printer can create a fraudulent paper tag. And in fact, I just gave you one that my team made. It took 2 minutes. I encourage you to get your cell phone out, scan the QR code. You tell me if you can tell the difference. There are some that are exploiting this system to circumvent the registration process and get around paying insurance and state inspections and paying tolls, and it's all of those things. And there's no question Texas is losing hundreds of millions in revenue annually. But fraudulent paper tags are the criminal instrument of choice for drug traffickers, human smugglers, auto theft rings, street gangs, street takeover groups, and yes, cop killers. The Texas DMV released a new paper tag design in a good faith attempt to curtail this issue a few months ago within the strict confines of the law as it's written. But since that time, my department has seized hundreds of paper tags in the new design. In fact, when we run an operation, it takes us about 6 minutes to find a fake paper tag, 6 minutes. And I can just tell you, I understand that there are fake metal tags, apples and oranges. The fake metal tags are so few and far between compared to the paper tags, it's ridiculous. This bill is supported by the Texas Police Chiefs Association, the National Insurance Crime Bureau, and quite frankly, on Sunday, I'll be out here honoring the life of Brandon Sy with the family, his family, during Texas Police Memorial Week. We are tired of hearing the bagpipes play. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank all of y'all for being here. Call up the next panel. Tony Sobrig.
Oh, that was me. We just did.
You what?
She just went.
I'm sorry.
I'll stay if you want me to.
No, it's all right. Thanks. That's what I do. Shay Ludicky. Dana Moore, Texas Trucking Association. And Earl Cook, independent automobile dealers. Go ahead, just state your name for the record.
Morning, Chair, members. My name is Shay Ludicky. I am the Tax Assessor Collector for Bell County. I am speaking today on behalf of myself and the Tax Assessor Collector Association of Texas. I'm here to testify on the bill. The Tax Assessor Collector Association supports the bill's premise to help tackle temporary buyer's tag fraud, which is a serious problem in our state. However, we do have some concerns over the implementation and resulting unfunded mandates. Texas has over 22,000 auto dealers who will need to receive permanent metal general issue plates. It is our understanding Texas DMV will require the tax assessor collectors to distribute plates to our dealers in our counties, and we still have some questions that need to be answered. Will the dealers be required to be deputized and bonded to the tax assessor collector, holding them accountable for the plate and sticker inventory they're going to now have? Currently, dealers are required to submit their title transfers within 30 days. Will they be required to do it immediately since the customer is going to already have the permanent plate? If the tax assessor collector distributes 200 plates to a dealer and they go out of business the next day, who collects the plates back from the dealers if the plates are even still there? How will the tax assessors be notified when they went out of business? Are the metal plates only for dealer buyer's tags? What about the time permits, which Senator West, you mentioned earlier, the 30-day, 72-hour, 144-hour, one-trip temp tags? Will they still be paper? Will the state provide additional fees or counties to collect the processing and handling and the distribution management and auditing of the plate and sticker inventory for our dealers? That's the unfunded mandate. For example, Bell County, with a population of 400,000, has approximately 275 new and used auto dealers. This will take at least 2 FTEs to manage and audit the metal plates for my dealers in my county. Finally, TACA recommends the state should study this type of transition. SB 970 by Hall is the study with all parties involved to help come up with a solution. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions.
All right, questions?
Yeah, in terms of the audit piece, let me say this. What I plan on doing for everyone who has issues with this bill, we're going to sit down, Kelvin Bass, my staff person, working with the committee, we're going to sit down probably sometime this week and see Representative Goldman in the back and kind of work through these issues and put together a list of what the issues are and come up with as many solutions as we can to those issues.
The handout I gave y'all has a high-level view of some of the issues we have. We support the
No, I understand. But I
bodies.
just want to let you know the process, but the methodology we're going to use in order to address it. I look forward to you sitting at the table.
Yes, sir.
Senator Hancock.
Senator West, you kind of go in the same direction I am. I appreciate all the questions. I just would rather you've come forward with answers to the questions because you're probably the best one to come up with the answers. And so it seems like a better process and a better role rather than just coming up and telling us all of the questions is ways that you could answer the questions unless you want us to come up with them, which I think you're probably better equipped since you're the one that came up with the questions. And I think that's what Senator West is saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Take your questions and come up with the answers to them and bring them to Senator West's office.
Yes, sir. In my handout, I identified several DMV rules and some statutes that could be updated to help.
I would come with the solutions to your questions to Senator West.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, state your name, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members. My name is Dana Moore, and I represent the Texas Trucking Association, and I'm testifying on the bill. Our Trucking Association has met with Senator West and Representative Goldman's offices to address a concern with maintaining Transportation Code 502094. That's the 72 and 144-hour temporary registration. And this is only for commercial vehicles, generally large commercial vehicles that have a U.S. DOT operating authority and proof of insurance. These temporary registrations allow a trucking company to put a new truck into service until the interstate license plates, also known as IRP or International Registration Plan, until those plates come in. And also for out-of-state carriers that operate on a very temporary basis in Texas, and we appreciate your office's willingness to work with us. Our truck dealer members have expressed concerns regarding the sufficient availability of metal plates for customers. Their worry is that there may not be an adequate supply of metal plates on hand, requiring trucking companies to either park the truck or be forced to purchase these 72 144-hour permits, assuming they're still available. And we would encourage the legislature to ensure safeguards are in place to prevent this from occurring. Now, while TXTA supports the legislature's attempt to combat the fraud and criminal activity associated with paper plates, we want to point out that this issue rarely involves large commercial vehicles. Thank you. I'll be glad to take any questions.
All right, thank you. Go ahead and state your name, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Earl Cook. I'm with the Texas Independent Auto Dealers Association. I'm here to testify on the bill. To give you guys some historical perspective, at the height of the temp tag fraud from September 21 to November of 21, that quarter period is 1.5 million temporary tags issued. The most recent quarter is 1 million. So 1/3 of the temp tags are now gone off the road. A couple of ways that was accomplished is they are immediately shut off access. So if you notice a large number getting printed, that's something that you can do, is you can immediately shut off access. The licensing requirements have also gotten much stricter. They're verifying things. So this has been addressed. We have a ways to go, and we're happy to work with you to continue to help work on this issue. But I just wanted to give you the perspective. We got 1/3 reduced off the road, which is a pretty significant number.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Thank y'all very much for coming. Rob Brazil, add your card. That's the last witness card I'm showing. That's the last witness card I'm showing. I've got a stack of cards people have signed that we'll enter into the record, if that's all right with y'all, rather than reading them all. So Rob, go ahead.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Robert Brazil with the Texas Automobile Dealers Association. I am here today on Senate Bill 2567. We're on the bill out of our respect for Senator West, the process, and the serious policy and operational questions associated with this bill, quite frankly, that need to be taken out of the political and adversarial process. As you know, TADA represents roughly 1,400 dealerships across the state, 290 cities and towns. Annually, our members sell around 2 million new and used vehicles each and every year. At present, very few of our dealers are what you heard referred to as a full-service deputy, which means they actually hold and store plates on hand at the dealership. In fact, of my legislative committee, I had one member who does this. What the bill contemplates is leaving every dealer in Texas, both new and used, all 22,000, will be stocked with available hard plates. I think this is a huge operational challenge, particularly at the outset. For example, the 2 million transactions I just mentioned with our members, we're talking that's 167,000 a month of moving these plates through the system from the prisons to the DMV to the tax to us. I think this will involve a significant cost to the DMV, the tax, and our dealers who will have storage and security costs associated with this. I guess the thing that we're most concerned about, if you do want to implement this type of system, we're very concerned that the bill does not have a safety valve for the situation where we haven't had a hard plate actually delivered and we have a transaction that we have to postpone simply because we don't have adequate hard plate on hand. So with that, I would also like to just commend the DMV for the actions that they have taken. I think they have helped, and I guess, overall, as Senator Nichols mentioned, the fraud and the criminal activity seems to go whichever direction the state goes, and that we go through a big time and expense, and we end up back here 5-10 years from now talking about metal plate fraud.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Senator West.
Rob, up in the association, obviously, we talked about some of the issues. I need you to help me figure out some solutions to it, okay? Because obviously, 2 million vehicles a year, we want to continue to do that, if not more.
Yes.
But we don't want to add additional cost to the system and, needless to say, provide the security that you guys were talking about. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Rob. Okay, does anyone else like to testify on for or against Senate Bill 2567? Hearing none, we'll close public testimony, leave the bill pending. Members, we're going to stand at ease for just a few seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got enough for most of them. Staff, let your members know we're fixing to start voting. Some of them may be just right across the into the next room. We're going to leave that one pending.
No, I know that. I'm sorry. Which ones are you voting?
There's just a couple of, well, we'll just pretty much just start go down the list. Yeah, I'll try to follow that list.
Hold on to it for now.
Oh, my list?
Yeah, you've got your note written on there. Yeah. Thank you.
We're voting the dark bill today? Yes, sir. And I'm present, I voted, but I want to make sure I'm not local.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of these women I had to vote for.
So, that pending bill, the dark bill, we'll probably definitely have to poll on this one first. He's a present, not voting, so we wouldn't have it with this makeup.
Yeah.
But the other ones should be okay.
Okay. All right, members. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. House Bill 842. Looking at your agenda list, we'll try to follow it first, with a few exceptions. Chair lays out as a matter of pending business House Bill 842 by Senator Whitmire, laid out earlier in the hearing. Senator West moves that House Bill 842 be reported to the Senate. Recommendation do pass, be printed. Clerk call the row.
Nichols?
Aye.
West?
Aye.
Alvarado? Eckhart? Yes. Hancock? King? Miles, Parker, Perry. 5 ayes, no nays.
There being 5 ayes, no nays, House Bill 842 reported favorably to the full Senate. Senator West moves that House Bill 842 be recommended local uncontested calendar. Are there any objections? Hearing none, so ordered. Next one is Hinojosa's 1315.
House bill.
House Bill. That's open burn pit registry thing? Okay. That's not. Chair lays out as a matter of pending business House Bill 1315 by Senator Hinojosa and its proposed committee substitute. Senator West moves adoption of the committee substitute. Are there any objections? Hearing none, so ordered. Senator West moves that House Bill 1315 do not pass, but the committee substitute adopted in lieu thereof do be passed and be printed. Clerk call the row.
Nichols?
Aye.
West?
Aye.
Alvarado? Eckhart? Hancock? King? Miles, Parker, Perry. 5 ayes, no nays.
Being 5 ayes, no nays, committee substitute House Bill 1315 is reported favorably to the full Senate. Senator West moves committee substitute House Bill 1315 be recommended at the local uncontested calendar. Are there any objections? Hearing none, so ordered. Okay, House Bill 3106. That's the designation, highway designation. Chair lays out as a matter of pending business House Bill 3106 by Senator Hughes. Senator West moves that House Bill 3106 be reported to the Senate with recommendation it do pass and be printed. Clerk call the row.
Nichols?
Aye.
West?
Aye.
Alvarado? Eckhart? Hancock? King? Miles, Parker, Perry. 5 ayes, no nays.
Being 5 ayes, no nays, House Bill 3106 reported favorably to the full Senate. Senator West moves House Bill 3106 be recommended local uncontested calendar. Are there any objections? Hearing none, so ordered. Okay, Senator Hughes, House Bill 3108, that's a designation. Chair lays out as a matter of pending business House Bill 3108 by Senator Hughes. Senator West moves that House Bill 3108 be reported to the Senate with recommendation to pass be printed. Clerk call the row.
Nichols?
Aye.
West?
Aye.
Alvarado? Eckhart? Hancock? King? Miles, Parker, Perry. 5 ayes, no nays.
There being 5 ayes, no nays, House Bill 3108 reported favorably to the full Senate. Senator West moves House Bill 3108 be recommended local uncontested calendar. Any objections? Hearing none, so ordered. This is Paxton's Senate Bill 414, designation. Chair lays out as a matter of pending business Senate Bill 414 by Senator Paxton. Senator West moves that Senate Bill 414 be reported to Senate recommendation do pass be printed. Clerk call the row.
Nichols?
Aye.
West?
Aye.
Alvarado? Eckhart? Hancock? King? Miles, Parker, Perry. 5 ayes, no nays.
Being 5 ayes, no nays, Senate Bill 414 is reported favorably to the full Senate. Senator West moves that Senate Bill 414 be recommended local uncontested calendar. Any objections? Hearing none, so ordered. This is Zaffarini's bill, Senate Bill 1716. That's the airport. Somebody said that has to be something amended. You said, you talked to her about that. Okay. Chair lays out as a matter of pending business, Senate Bill 1716 by Senator Zaffarini. It's committee substitute. Senator West moves adoption of committee substitute. Are there any objections? Hearing none, so ordered. Senator West moves Senate Bill 1716 do not pass by committee substitute. Adopt in lieu thereof do pass by printed. Clerk call the row.
Nichols.
Aye.
West.
Aye.
Alvarado. Eckhart. Hancock. King. Miles. Parker. Perry. 5 ayes, no nays.
Being 5 ayes, no nays, committee substitute, Senate Bill 1716, repaid for the full Senate. Senator West moves committee substitute for Senate Bill 1716 be recommended local uncontested calendar. Are there any objections? Hearing none, so ordered. This is Hancock's Senate Bill 2200. Okay. Chair lays out as a matter of pending business, Senate Bill 2200 by Senator Hancock. Senator Hancock moves Senate Bill 2200 be reported to the Senate. Recommendation do pass, be printed. Clerk call the row.
Nichols. West.
Aye.
Alvarado. Eckhart. Hancock. King. Miles. Parker. Perry. 5 ayes, no nays.
There being 5 ayes, no nays, Senate Bill 2200 is reported favorably to the full Senate. Senator Hancock moves Senate Bill 2200 be recommended local uncontested calendar. Are there any objections? Hearing none, so ordered. Chair lays out, okay, this is Campbell's 2376. Chair lays out as a matter of pending business, Senate Bill 2376 by Senator Campbell. Senator West moves that Senate Bill 2376 be reported to Senate. Recommendation to pass be printed. Clerk call the row.
Nichols.
Aye.
West.
Aye.
Alvarado. Eckhart.
No.
No?
No.
Okay, well then, you object to us just pulling that down then?
I do not.
You do not object to
I
it?
do not object.
Okay, then I'll just pull that back down. We'll save that for another time. Okay, Senator Hinojosa, 2601. That was that one for water? Okay. Chair lays out as a matter of pending business, Senate Bill 2601 by Senator Hinojosa. Senator West moves Senate Bill 2601 be reported to Senate. Recommendation do pass and printed. Clerk call the row.
Nichols.
Aye.
West.
Aye.
Alvarado. Eckhart. Hancock. King. Miles. Parker. Perry. 5 ayes, no nays.
There being 5 ayes, no nays, Senate Bill 2601 reported favorably to full Senate. Senator West moves Senate Bill 2601 be recommended for the local uncontested calendar. Are there any objections? Hearing none, so ordered. This is the one,
This is the dark bill.
oh,
You don't have to vote.
they don't have the votes to vote on that. So we'll hold that one. Are there any motions in writing? I have some. Are there any objections to accept the motions in writing? Hearing none, we'll leave it open for what? Hour, 2 hours? Do what?
No, but I thought we were waiting for the House bill.
We're waiting for the House bill in 1542. There's a couple of them we're waiting on the House bills to come over. What is this?
These are just motions in writing.
Okay.
They're coming
Is that
in.
it?
I'm assuming there's no motions. There are a couple of motions in writing, so for people who weren't here, so you have no objection to that. So we'll leave, closed public. All right, there being no other business to come before the committee stands recessed, subject to call of the chair.